Um, okay, I came from India in 1993. Uh, I came on a student visa. I went to Ohio State University, and before that, I was a student of business in India. I had some experience working there. In 1998, a major shift happened in my career while the economic IT boom was happening in this country, so I shifted to information technology and worked with different companies like Lockheed, Getronics, Lockheed, and now Cisco. India, as I said, is a country of lot of diversity in terms of religion, in terms of languages, in terms of culture. I come from North India. It's a state called Punjab. It's a bordering state between India and Pakistan. My religion is a Sikh. We usually get mistaken for Muslims because we sport big beards. We grow beard and we have mustache and we have turbans. But there's a huge difference between the way our religion makes us, because we are very liberal. It's a very relatively new religion called Sikhism. It's an offshoot of actually both Hinduism and Islam. And I came to this country because of the sort of freedom this country gives, the sort of adventure this country has to offer. Hinduism is characterized by a caste system where there's a very specific difference in different castes and what they're supposed to do. There still are certain areas which predominantly adhere to those casteism, but India is breaking that mold with more liberalized policies, more liberalized way of working. But we do have national holidays based on births of prophets, different saints of different communities, just like here. Major difference in these two biggest democracies in the world, US and India, is the diversity. India has much more diversity, as I said earlier. Like, we have much more different flavors of religions, languages, cultures. So that's the huge difference. Now that obviously impacts your day-to-day working and also impacts how business is done. And India is definitely moving from a nationalist, socialist mold towards more liberal markets where trade is free. Individuals choose to their liking what they want to do. I mean, there's no racial profiling in India. But Hindus, predominantly the upper caste, which is Brahmins, they are the so-called they're into the mind education. They're like into the mind occupations like education, administration, traditionally. And although like a lot is happening to change that, but that's traditionally their forte. Then there's another class which is called business class, and they predominantly, actually, they are from Gujarat. There's like a couple of states which are very progressive in their business outlook. Obviously, women in the US have more rights. They are more broader in their outlook. Traditionally, Indian women have been restricted to the role of housekeepers. Again, as I said, last about 30 years, there's a tremendous change happening where women are in villages. They actually do more work in terms of not only raising their kids' families, but also working in the fields. In the cities, they actually do jobs, so it's a very liberal outlook. We do not, as in some of the other parts of the world, women in India do not wear a veil, the so-called burqa to cover their faces. Although that's just one religion which does that. I can name a couple of positions of companies which actually are managed by women. There's a big real estate company, DLF India. That's headed by a woman. They're like pharmaceutical companies. They're beauty and healthcare products companies which are headed by women, yes. But again, they are traditionally what you call family-based industries, which are headed by women. In corporate India, I don't think there are too many examples, unlike in US where, for example, PepsiCo is headed by a woman, Indian woman, Naomi. East is very different from West. how people express themselves. The definition of social etiquette is very different in India. And some of that has to with just the geography or just the fact that India has a population of 1.3 billion people, and you have so much individual or human interaction happening, that sometimes those boundaries they don't really appear that obvious, you know. So let's say if a U.S. person, businessman, has to go to India to do some business, he has to acknowledge the fact that family is something from where the conversation starts, you know. Just going and talking raw facts and figures is not enough. I mean, there's a huge part of Indian business life is that they still like their families. It's always good and polite to start like your conversation. Hey, how are your friends? How's your family doing? You know. What you will see in Indian traditional like small towns is you have a shop in the front and you have a house on the first floor. You know.
Okay.
You have a shop on the ground floor, on the first floor, and the house sits on top of the shop. So a person goes back and forth to do his personal and business transactions at the same time. One major difference in Indian economy and US economy is Indian economy still really sits on mom and pop stores, unlike US corporations. Walmart is going there, but they are having a tremendous hard time really penetrating the mindset of that Indians like that. Again, a huge demarcation is between small businesses and big businesses. Big businesses are more formalized. The structure is more legalized. The way of things are more formal. Small businesses, it comes down to who I know, how I trust those people, how I perceive those people, and the goodwill, the personal goodwill of that person. So that really sets the small businesses apart from the big businesses. Small businesses, I mean, they don't have to go to like a shop on this. I mean, if they feel like opening at 9, they will do at 9. If they feel like opening at 9:30, they will open at 9:30. Again, I'm talking about the small businesses. Right. Now, if you move from a little more from the medium to big businesses, yes, then it's very formalized. It's almost like what you see here. I feel relaxed in this country. In other ways, I don't. It's a contradiction, actually. In India, I mean, if I have to, let's say if I don't feel like working, you know, I mean, we do that in the US too, if you want to do that, but it's more structured here at least. In India, I mean, yes, I mean, if I want to spend a little more time with my acquaintances at a job, I will, you know. Punctuality, yes, I would say most of the people are, but again, it's not that much of a deal if a person is like 15-20 minutes late or 30 minutes late. It just, again, it goes down to you have to survive. I mean, it's a country of 1.3 billion people. I mean, you have to create your niche, you know. Indians really look towards US for inspiration. Last about 20 years, I mean, I was amazed. I went to India recently. They're more brand conscious. They know more about America than most Americans do. So that in turn motivates them to go for certain courses in education, to pursue certain education the way they think will take them to that level. You know. So it's right now it's the personal dynamics of the Indian population, which is actually causing the middle class to really swell.